David Baye here for MuscularDevelopment.com. We are in Pittsburgh for the 2014 North Americans, hanging out here with super heavyweight competitor John Ward. John, we know you were disappointed, but a great showing at this year's USA's second place, and in a very close second place. They rejudged it on Saturday night, so obviously the judges thought it could have gone either way. Coming into the North Americans, obviously you got to be one of the favorites here. I know you're still putting in the work as you would for any other show. Talk to us a little bit about what you've been up to in the last month.
Last 4 or 5 weeks, took a very short break for a few days to eat, kind of reset the body a little bit, get things going again. Was able to get back in the gym and actually train pretty decently. Pumps were insane. And then after about 10 days of that, we slowly started working our way back into the diet. So it's been about 3.5 weeks of really pushing the diet, just like we would, obviously, prior to any other show.
Now, conditioning really not much of an issue for you at the USA's, but obviously any show that you're gunning for, you want to be as sharp as possible. So were there any changes that you made to the diet, or was it kind of just business as usual, same prep scheme as what you were doing for the USA's?
Pretty much the same prep scheme. We backed off the cardio slightly just because we were already in condition for that. So you don't need to go and do 2 hours of cardio every day if you're already in condition. Just me eating the food for those 10 days got my metabolism going. So as soon as I started the diet, I dropped most of that weight right away that I'd gained. I think I dropped 10 pounds or so in a matter of 2 or 3 days. So the body went right back on track to where it was. And for the most part, it's been clicking on all cylinders. Looking back at my notes for USA's till now, I mean, literally almost to the point, 4.5 away from, where I was getting on stage at USA's. So it's been good.
Everything's pretty similar then. Now, I know, a lot of the guys that we talked to that did the USA's, they didn't do what they want. They said, we talked to Matt Berzacott. He said, my plane ticket was purchased after prejudging. It seems like you took a little bit of time to think about coming here. What was, what was that final thing that pushed you to say, hey, you know what, I'm going to jump into the North Americans?
Our initial thought was to go to USA, see what happens. If we're in the top 2 or 3, then we would go to North Americans if we didn't win. Coming in second, and like you said, such a close second, it actually stung a little bit more than I thought it would. I was very happy once I sat back and reflected a little bit. I was very happy and I was very pleased, but it took a lot out of me, emotionally and physically. So it took a couple days for me just to come around and just have the thought of doing another show in such a short period of time. I've done back-to-back, 1 week to the other, but I've never had a 4 or 5 week gap before. So just with work things and personal life and stuff like that, I just wanted to think about things before I, put it all in, because I don't want to just, half-ass it. I want to be all in or nothing, because that's going to show on stage.
Yeah, that 4 or 5 week, that's for anybody who's done it, that's a really tough time frame. If it's 1 week, 2 weeks, even 3 weeks, you can kind of hang on to that conditioning. Once you start pushing, 6, 7 weeks, you can take more than a few days off. But 5 weeks, like you said, you got maybe a day or two to eat. With not really having the game plan set, did you, you said you kind of got back to the diet right away, but as far as the training and everything, was it back to the gym like I'm going to train like I'm doing North Americans and just see how it goes, or was it a few days away from the gym and everything like that as well?
Being honest, I probably took 2 days off between North Americans and now. So no, I had photo shoots for about 8 hours on Sunday after USA's, and I was back in the gym on Monday.
Photo shoots. If you haven't done a photo, and I've had some very small ones, not to be like, oh, my photo shoots, but they're a lot of hard work. It's bust ass. Usually the photographer wants you to do close to a full body workout. So sometimes doing a photo shoot, and mine have never lasted more than like 2 or 3, but an 8-hour photo shoot that had to be like a.
It was actually 2 back-to-back. So it was run to the one, as soon as you wake up, kind of eat in between shots and get some fluid in you and stuff like that. Hightail it over to the other one and then shoot for another few hours. So it was fun, and I got some great shots that we'll be releasing. But it definitely takes a lot out of you. You're wiped.
So, all right, man. Well, we know you got to get to your tanning here pretty quick. As far as you said, the weight was about the same as where it was at the USA's.
I just weighed in right now at 260. So a little bit heavier than USA's. We started the carb up process a little bit earlier this time. So we're going to try something a little bit different going into this show than we did the last show, based upon the timing of prejudging versus USA's. And so we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, and not to say, hey, we're going to let you get going and pull back into the interview, but you did bring something up a little bit interesting. Talking about the show tomorrow, it's a one-day show, and with the USA's 2-day show, and when they're rejudging you guys on Saturday night, that makes it pretty difficult. What sort of things are you switching up, being that this is a one-day show and you only have a handful of hours in between prejudging and the night show?
I'm not as concerned about between prejudging and the night show. I'm more concerned about making sure, and I'm sure everybody is the same way, making sure we're full for that morning show. So just doing the things, like I said, carbing up. We literally started carbing up a day early this time, just so that I could build up the glycogen stores so that we wouldn't have to worry about forcing 1 or 2 big meals in going into prejudging before prejudging on Friday morning.
All right, man. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to let John go for real this time. Make sure you check back to Muscular Development tomorrow for all the men's action. Prejudging for men's physique and men's bodybuilding is all done on Friday this year. It was a little bit different last year, and the women all go on Saturday. Things start bright and early at 8 a.m., and I believe they start with the bodybuilders. They start with the open men's bodybuilders so they can try to time their stuff a little bit better, which is great for those guys. So make sure you're up bright and early checking for all the coverage. So, again, we're going to let John go, get his tan on, and get some more food in. Best of luck for myself and everybody at musculardevelopment.com.
Appreciate it.
We are out from the 2014 NPC North Americans.